Hello folks, I'm here to talk to you about how to print patterns in some languages. I meant in programming languages. In a moment, I will provide some examples, but first, I'm going to tell you something. Things happen by doing. So, just do it whatever you want to do. Want to print patterns? Open your editor and start writing. Then, what we are waiting for? Let's get started. For that, we need a programming language of our choice. Here I am going to do it in JavaScript because no need to install any software for that. All we need a text editor and a browser. So first create a folder as patterns, then open your editor. Let me explain how things works here. As the video is for complete beginner, I have to start from the scratch. Give here little attention. If I want to print star, then I have to write print star. Yeah, I'll write print star here to print only one star. The explanation is language independent here. You can think of any languages, C, C++, Java, Python. If I have to print 5 stars, 4 and 5, then I can write as 2 and 3 and 4, 5. Or there is another way of writing this. I can write the print statement 5 times. But think, if there are 10 stars to print or 100 stars to print, then there will be a overhead to write the print statement 10 times and 100 times. Here we can use a loop. If you know basics of any language, you must have heard of a for loop. That is what we are going to use here. We can also use a do while loop also. So see, there is only one row here. So there should be a loop and is a variable. Let's say I. The variable must hold a value and the value can be ranges from 1 to 5. The variable range must be 5, but the variable value can be start from any number from 0 to 4 or from -5 to -1, any number. We can start at any point of number, but it should be increases 5 times. We can implement it by JavaScript. Let's save it as fast.html. Save. We can insert a script tag. Then we have to start with a for loop. In JavaScript, the variable is defined as var. The variable name is I equals to, let's say, -5. It should be less than 0, that is up to -1. Then it should be incremented. This condition restricted the loop when it is incremented. Then to print, we can write document to write. We have to print stars. We can open in a browser. That's it. When we are printing 5 stars, we were writing I equals to 1 to 5, because there are only one row and 5 columns. The range of I 1 to 5 represents the 5 columns here, and we are not to worry about the rows because there is only one row. But the things changes when it comes to multiple rows. Let's say we have to print 3 stars in a column, that is one column and 3 rows. So generally we can write print star, and we have to give a new line, or we can set break line in HTML. Then we have to print star again, and I can copy it and paste it. So these statements will print this pattern. If I will remove the break line here, this will print horizontal stars, which we don't want. We want the pattern should be like this. So after each print statement, when we give next new line, the cursor will move from there to the next line, from there to there. Now we have to use two for loops, loop 1 and loop 2. Let's say we can call it as outer loop, and this is as inner loop. So why two loops? Because here for each row there should be a star printed. For each row there is 3 rows and 1 column. For each row there should be 1 star. So here let's say a variable I is taken, and this represents the rows. So I can be from 1 to 3, or we can take 0 to 2 also. In the second loop, let's say we take a variable j equals to 1 to 1, because it is only printed once. We can implement it as, let's say, column.html. Save. We have to take two loops here. This is the outer loop for where I equals to 1, I less than 4, or I can write I less than equals to 3, I plus plus. Then for multiple statements I have to give a bracket. Then here comes our second loop, or the inner loop, j equals to 1, j less than 2, j plus plus. Here I write document dot write. We have to print the star. Then after the for loop, after the inner for loop, I have to bring the cursor down, so that after a horizontal star printing, it will come to the next line for the vertical line. So I have to give a break line, document dot write. I can say break line. That's it. Save it, cancel, and open in browser. Here we go. 3 stars in a vertical line. Yeah. So this pattern we are going to print. A simple one for beginners. For those who don't understand how a pattern works, let me explain. This is a simple pattern of stars. When a pattern is given to you, first check how many rows and columns are there. So these are called rows and the vertical lines are called columns. So here, as you can see, there are 5 rows and 5 columns. So a loop should run for the horizontal lines and another loop should run for the vertical lines. Yeah. Open a file, save it as simple.html, desktop, then patterns, then save. Okay. Start with HTML code. Put a script tag inside body. And yes, here we can start with a for loop. We have to print star, so am I writing star? We can give a space here so that it can look good. Yeah. Then after each line, we have to come to the next line. For that, we can write document.write break line. That is, yeah. That's it. Save it and open in browser. Yeah, here we go. There is a mistake. And yes, we can move it to the center also by writing center, save it and refresh it. As we can see in the program, the first for loop runs from 0 to 5, that is for from 0, 1, 2, 3 and then till 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 makes 5 horizontal lines, and then the next internal for loop runs for the vertical lines. So there are 5 vertical lines and the loop runs from 0 to 5, that means 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Total it makes 5. Yeah, you can write 1 to 5 as well. The aim is to create 5 rows and 5 columns. You can start at any point and go through next 5 lines.